Okay, everybody, it's James, otherwise known as Escape Punk Lefty, back here with another video. So today's video, I'm going to be talking about somebody who I wanted to confront for a long time. And as you know, the main enemies of this YouTube channel is not even white conservatives or whatever. It's black conservatives and so-called nerd culture conservatives are the main sort of targets of this channel. There's a lot of overlap, and at the end of the day, white supremacy is the problem. But you know, if this channel goes the way that I want it to go, I want my bread and butter to be like literally making fun of people like this guy. This guy is apparently also from Detroit, Michigan somehow. you know, I don't understand how can you grow up in Detroit as a young black person or even an older black person and then you turn Republican. Like that only happens to people that either A, they want to make money telling racist white people what they want to hear, or B, they are so insecure with who they are, they have to knock down other black people to make themselves feel acceptable. So um I just don't understand why this guy's the way he is. And hey, maybe if I'm lucky enough, I have an actual debate with this guy, because I think people like him they're so anti-intellectual and they lack knowledge of history, or they try to ignore history, that that leads them to these like political conclusions. But anyway, let's get into it. I'm not gonna stall anymore or even preface the video because I want to take the arguments as they go.
Now, my opinion on this situation might be a little different from a lot of people, but I'm going to tell you anyway. And if you don't like it, so be it. What happened to that boy was unfortunate. However,
However,
I'm not finna sit around and act as if this boy is innocent or if this boy was just some little perfect angel.
I mean, it doesn't matter because we found out about bad things that he had after the fact. When we look at the video in the store, they say he took a water bottle out, looked at it, and then put it back in the freezer. So Cyrus never stole anything. So I see Officer Tatum isn't the only person that's going to be stupid enough to talk about this in such a biased way. Somebody could be, could have things on them that they supposed to have, but if they're not using that object to commit a crime, the object in question is irrelevant. And I know what's being referred to here is the gun that he had on him. But people can have all sorts of things. They can have dope needles, large amounts of marijuana, guns, tasers, knives, and as long as they're not using these items to commit a crime, I really don't see why is that being focused on? Because I know it's an issue that a young man has a pistol on him. That's horrible, and we can talk about that separately. But we're not gonna use the fact that he was carrying a weapon to say that he deserved to get shot in the back for taking a water bottle out, looking at it, and putting it back in. Doku D, I went over a video by that creator. I believe like Saturday. I think that was when I was doing I try to do 3 videos every Saturday so I can keep up these everyday uploads and what have you. But the point being is that the newscasters told us that he put the water bottle back in. He, in this case, right, only and the police did not know that he had to, because the police are the only people that can charge you for having an illegal weapon that was not referenced in any part to have to do with this crime. So I'm not understanding here what is the point here? What are we talking about?
First of all, why are you on the internet with a gun?
So just because somebody commits a crime or does something that looks bad or spicy, that means that they deserve to be shot in the back for taking a water bottle out at a convenience store, looking at it and putting it back? What does that have to do with this instance of the clear injustice committed against this child? And it's kind of weird that a lot of black conservatives like to do this, like, oh, this such and such thing was tragic, and then immediately in the next 4 to 5 sentences, the next paragraph out of their mouth, they will immediately defend the most reprehensible and unjustified shit that happens to black people and other minorities, but especially black people.
Where your parents was at before then. Why wasn't your parents telling you, hey, look, man, get off the internet with them guns? What you got a gun for anyway?
Not to mention, kids can hide their social media from parents, but again, this is irrelevant to begin with. Like, he did not pull the gun out and get shot robbing a convenience store. We found out that he had the gun later on. So again, I don't understand why is this being brought up. Because the argument is supposed to be right. And of course, I'm not going to even make it through this whole video if we're just listening to this guy and he's going to react to it like a damn fool. So this argument already makes absolutely no sense. I'm gonna move my camera too, but this argument makes no sense because how is it that, right? How is it that, like, and it's like I'm really having trouble here understanding, because it's like, again, like if he used a gun to stick up a convenience store and he got shot, you know, I would understand, like, okay, the store owner defended themselves, you know, they protected themselves from what was going on. But in this case specifically, no gun was used in committing this crime. So I'm trying to figure out, you know, why is this being brought up? Like, this has nothing to do, because again, Cyrus did nothing wrong. Literally didn't do anything wrong. We have the clip of him taking out a water bottle, looking at it, and putting it back. In that moment that caused him to lose his life, he was not in the process of committing any crimes or doing anything wrong. And again, only later we found out that he was armed with an illegal weapon. So what point is being made here?
Wait, do you got beef out here? You got problems, any of that? They need to be addressing that situation right there, the parents, before anything else may have happened or transpired after that. Secondly, why you in a stove taking water, putting it back? You looking suspicious.
Huh? bro, I cannot believe that one of these motherfucking buck dancing Uncle Tom ass cowards, right, was crazy enough to actually say that out loud out of their mouths. Like, people can't take items out of a freezer or pick things up in a store, look at it, read what's in it, you know, weigh their options, see if they want to buy something else. It's a thoughtless thing that literally everybody does, and I want you to keep that in mind, right? Everybody goes into convenience stores and gas stations, or even shopping around places like Walmart. You might pick up an item, look at it, decide if the loss of buying it is worth it, and if it's not worth it, you put it back down. This is something literally everybody does. And it's only a coward that will sit up here and argue that this young man deserved to lose his life over something that literally everyone else does. How is that suspicious? How? He didn't steal it. He never put it in his pocket. He didn't slide it in a hoodie. He didn't put it up his sleeve. He looked at it and put it back. This takes place. This happens. If you wait long enough in any store of any kind, you will see this. Like for instance, right? Sometimes when I'm at a skate shop, I will look at skateboards, right? I will pick it up, look at it, and put it back. You know, Walmart, if I'm shopping for action figures or something like that, I pass a toy section, I'll pick up a toy, look at it, put it back. You know, maybe I can't afford it, maybe I don't want it. And the same goes for food items, where I might pick up a food item, look at it, see if it's worth the money, put it down. And this is, I think cruelty is not even a word here. This is just disgusting that, you know, we allow people like this to have internet platforms, and people like Anton that agrees and airs these sort of messages where a child deserved to get shot in the back for doing literally everything that everybody else does of any race. Every race does this in many different stores at many different points. So this does not look suspicious. This is something, again, everybody does it. But okay.
Now I know a lot of people gonna say, well, The store owner and his son shouldn't have ran him down or chased him. Well, I think you got to look into the laws that's out there. You
I mean, not even just that. Literally, right? In most cases, because in my opinion, right, is something that Cho should have went to prison for. This is another case of the system weaponizing minority groups against each other to get a certain infighting outcome against, black Americans and Asian Americans. So we're infighting with each other instead of thinking about the things that we have most in common. So I see it that way. I don't really see it in a way of, you know, maybe the law allow, but the law, should not allow. And if that is a law in that place, the store owner should not be able to chase people down the street with guns, because at that point, what sort of society are we trying to create?
are able to do that in those different states. Now, some states are different,
I wonder why.
like California. If somebody is shoplifting, you can't run after them. You can't chase them, none of that. You just got to let it be what it's going to be.
I mean, or you can call the police while they're shoplifting and let the police do their job. Mr. Cho did not want to call the police. He could have locked them in the gas station and called the police, but he decided to not do that. That guy that day clearly wanted to kill somebody. And it's really as simple as that. And so many people have came up with the same conclusion. Amazing Lucas, I believe, said that. Antonio Speaks / Antonio Talks has said that that guy wanted to kill somebody that day. And who knows, he might kill somebody else in the future because he was not punished for what he did. And the only reason why in the South those laws where you can chase people down the street and shoot them, and stuff like that, that shit exists so white people and minority groups, can infight. But it was mostly used so white people can kill black people if they're accused of shoplifting in their store. That's the main reason why. So these laws existing with no context, right, allows him to paint a sort of fluid narrative that in blue states you're just walking out of the store. I dare him to go try to steal out of a Walmart and watch what happens to him.
And then, truthfully, I was a security guard at one time and some years ago. And if somebody shoplifted, I'm not about to chase you down. That's just my opinion. I ain't getting paid enough for it. It ain't.
Because it's not your job. That's the police job to recover stolen merchandise and to prosecute people for shoplifting. Because again, if we start allowing people to just, and that's why they don't allow that shit in other states. Because it's like, what type of society are we trying to create where someone steals out of your store and then you're chasing people down the street trying to shoot at them? Because that's dangerous for everybody. Cho could have shot anybody else shooting at that kid. Like, what sort of society are we trying to build towards where laws like that are allowed to persist?
In my store, I don't own the goods, so no, I'm not gonna do it. It's a wrap. Now, third, shoot the boy prior to that. He could have did it right
outside of the narrative, thinking outside of the talking points. I'm assuming maybe he even watched a little bit of the trial so that he can get the details.
I mean, fuck watching the trial. Why don't we just go watch the video of him taking the water and putting it back? So it's not illegal for you to go in a gas station or convenience store to take a water and put it back. That's not stealing. That's doing something every consumer does, where they weigh their options and see if they want an item or not. So watching the trial, that was not, whatever happened in the trial is not relevant to the fact that, because it wasn't even that he was killed over a water bottle. He was killed for like literally no reason. No reason at all.
Because a lot of people are putting out misinformation. They saying anything, anywhere, anytime. They speaking based off of what they heard, a game of telephone. And nobody is actually able to speak to the case itself. I've even spoken to the lawyer, right? And I plan on having him on a show.
Because of course you do.
Tomorrow morning on the Millionaire Morning Show. So make sure y'all tune in for that.
I Me, while on one point I disagree with doing that, on another point, I think it's in people's rights to exercise their money and resources the way that they want. So if people feel like the Asian people, workers, need to be sent a message by black working class people to take white supremacy and the persecution of black individuals seriously by not shopping at their stores and restaurants, I think that's a fair play. This isn't rioting. This isn't looting. This isn't killing anybody or anything weird or upsetting. This is people simply choosing not to buy merchandise from Asian stores. And that's a very valid way to protest and bring a message to the Asian community.
And they not just boycotting Chinese stores. They not just like it's so dumb. I've seen so many different videos of stores vandalized, bricks thrown through the window. People are ordering and not picking up the orders.
Oh, well, I mean, again, you know, especially with the ordering and not picking up the order, I think that one is a very valid form. Now, I'm not going to defend people throwing brick through people's store windows and stuff like that, but at the same time, I'm not going to pretend like I don't understand why it's happening, and it is a serious problem where a lot of minority groups and the sort of model minority myth that some Asian people believe causes them to be complicit in white supremacy, and a lot of black people are trying to bring white supremacy to their attention. And if this is the way it has to happen, this is the way it has to happen, because everybody isn't going to be like me where we talk and break down these issues and break bread with people. There's going to be people that want, you know, actions and want to see change, and they'll do anything to see that action or to get change. But, you know, maybe that's just me. Anton Daniels is not known for his like intellectual fortitude, so why am I not surprised he's narrativizing it in this way?
All of this type of stuff, and this is what real racism and persecution against
Oh my God,
that don't even have anything to do with the case, let alone the fact that the facts of the case shown that the dude should have been not guilty.
And I also find it funny the idea that black culture failed Cyrus and Carmelo, but not all Asian people have something to do with the decision that Cho made to kill Cyrus. So it's okay to blame all black people for certain social problems, but when you want to confront Asian people or Hispanics and others about social problems and things that and problems that they cause, that's just an individual. Okay.
But here we are.
Now, I know the black community want to be in an uproar, and they want to most definitely boycott this, boycott that. Oh, we ain't going back to Asian stores. Stop lying. Yes, y'all are. A lot of y'all women going to be right up in there this weekend to try to get your little lace fronts and your wigs and nails and your eyelashes. So stop lying. Stop.
I mean, not to mention, there are black-owned beauty supplies in beauty shops. Just kind of putting that out there. That's number one. Number two, I kind of feel like he's doing like the weird anti-black thing where we like to pretend that black women are the only ones that wear things like wigs, extensions, and eyelashes. And even on top of that, not every black woman is politically engaged. So if you see black women shopping at Asian stores, that's their right too. Just because some people in our community want to do a certain thing doesn't mean that 100% all black people have to be involved in an action. Shit, y'all are literally like buck dancing cowards, and that's your right. But it ain't gonna stop me from making fun of you.
Happen like you ain't gonna go. Yes, you are. Now we want to boycott and protest about stuff like this.
Here we go.
However, we ain't doing none of that when it's still black on black crime. Now people gonna
we literally do, like, and it's like I was on a panel recently on TikTok just like a couple of days ago where for it's like this guy, I think his name is like ETV or some shit like that, and he brought up something talking about what was he saying? He was saying like oh, the black community doesn't care when black people are killed. But it's like, if you actually research and you look through the black community and you look, like, you know, especially if you go to like the black church. What the hell is the cat back here doing, bro? Go up on my bed, we have a problem. But if you go to the black church, especially the black church, a lot of sermons and scripture readings and prayers are completely just centered around ending violence and our community members being better people. If you actually engage with activists like myself, we have a myriad of social programs and idea and political policy that we put forward in ways to reduce crime and violence. And black people in general, right, are not these violent people that just love violence. It's only a minority of black people, less than 1%, that are in jail for violent offenses. So this idea that the black community doesn't care about violence or is inherently violent is just a white supremacist myth. Literally in Detroit, just like, what was that? Because Anton should know this, because I follow Metro Detroit news too. They literally had a Stop the Violence march, and they put in gun violence on the city of Detroit statue in front of City Hall. But somehow Anton doesn't know about that. It's kind of weird to me, but okay.
Say, oh, well, you trying to flip it. You trying to change it. No, I'm trying to tell the truth.
I mean, you're not flipping it or changing it. This is just factually incorrect information, saying it as though black people don't struggle with, you know, this problem of crime and violence in our community, and that we just sit around and ignore it. Then it's also implied, this posits the fact that everybody that's not being a buck dancing Uncle Tom saying things that racist white people want to hear is somehow complicit in the crime and violence that go on in our community. Just because, you know, I keep my conversations private and amongst other black people, or at least if I am talking to white people about gang violence, I'm talking to activists that actually want to fix the problem. And I'm not sitting up here talking to white Republicans. I'm not posting videos trying to impress and get views from white people. I keep my community problems in my community. That's how we know that you don't actually care about the black community and you're just on the internet showing out. Like, you know, it's because if you actually cared about the community, it's not even that you have to go do anything. It's the way you phrase and talk about the issues in the black community that shows us that you really don't care. And this is not a video for black people. This is a video for white people.
We don't do all this boycott when it comes to black on black crime. We wanted to boycott Target, Walmart. We wanted to protest for George Floyd, which was a crackhead,
and yeah, a crackhead who had his civil rights violated. Derek Chauvin broke the law and he's in prison for a reason.
Had a gun to a pregnant woman's stomach, which was a black lady.
Look at this. Like, this is a you know, this shit where he's, like I said, he's not even addressing, you know, violence in the black community from a standpoint of wanting to see things be better. He's addressing it from the standpoint and talking points of the racist Republican Party and their pundits. This is what they say when they talk about black on black crime, is they bring up George Floyd's past. They talk about you know, intercommunal violence in such a way that does not give any credence to understanding about the problems that we deal with. And I don't even think understanding is the real word, just any sort of like intellectual analysis to the problems that we deal with, while also pretending like again, like I said earlier, every black person that's not tap dancing and selling themselves out is somehow complicit, because we don't talk about our community in the ways of which, oh, it's 100% everybody, because it's not 100% everybody. It's a minority of a minority that does violent crime in the black community. While it might be an issue, talking about George Floyd, what has it been? 5 years later, isn't going to fix anything.
But yet we don't talk about that or address that situation. We just looked at the fact that the police did what he did to George Floyd, which I don't agree about him having his knee on the neck, but at the same time, he's...
Why? And this is a common tactic. So if you don't agree with what the police officer did, why are you following up with a statement that's literally guaranteed, even though I paused it right here, that's going to defend Derek Chauvin? Like, man, like this is this is that's one hell of a fucking conundrum. It's kind of the same way a couple of weeks ago, Anton here, right, on some sort of live stream said that he wasn't going to defend Dalton Etherly, but winded up for some reason defending good old Dalton Etherly. Makes you say,
Still had fentanyl in his system, and he was a crackhead. He was a drug addict.
None of this stuff matters.
So no, we out here protesting and boycotting for the wrong stuff. But
and not to mention the fact, let me break this down to black conservatives. Since I'm not in a debate, right? Or if I was in a formal debate, I could probably break it down more fairly. But let me break this down for y'all. Why people defend so-called drug addicts, crackheads, and criminals. When a society is deciding to inflict authoritarian policies against a minority group, similar to the ways that the Nazis did to Jews, or the Americans did to Jews. But the point being is that, yeah, that's a prime example right there. Or even, of course, black Americans through history, they say that they're targeting scoundrels and criminals. They are targeting vagrants. They're targeting crackheads. They're targeting people who are ungodly. And then the next thing you know, the entire minority group is on a hook from policies so-called meant to quell degenerates in our community. So that means black people who are well-behaved, good citizens of America wind up in underfunded schools, over-policed neighborhoods with no government social services, all because a couple of black people decided to commit crime or do drugs. And notice, especially in American context, right, for the most part, black people and Hispanics are the only people that's spoken about like this, where a few immigrant criminals or Hispanic people that are in gangs, a few black people that are in gangs and that do horrible things, that's the entire community is punished and put on a hook for those few people. So kids that are literally, trying to walk to the store, trying to get a haircut, or the barbershop, I should say, or to the basketball court, have to pass 5 or 6 police cars because some people in the neighborhood commit crime. And he's lucky if he's not harassed, fucking laid over the hood and searched. But this is the sort of thing, like broken windows policing. That's the sort of society that you're arguing for when you say black people shouldn't defend bad people in our community. Because eventually that authoritarianism directed towards the so-called crackheads and vagrants winds up directed towards everybody.
Addressing the situations and the things that's going on in our community, like I said, which is black on black crime. On top of,
and you don't even talk about that either. And I don't even think it should even be called black on black crime, right? In my opinion, it's just crime. Crime happens intercommunally among every demographic in America, because nobody calls white on white crime. It's just crime. Like, for instance, the boy that raped and killed his stepsister on a cruise, right? People don't think that, oh, this is a white person's problem. Oh, white kids are doing this, that, and the other. No, it's thought of, okay, this kid was crazy. He's isolated from all other white people. And this is just the case of one person misbehaving. But when a black person does anything bad, the entire community has to be on the hook for it. And that's why I think the notion of black on black crime in our community falls on deaf ears for so many black people.
The high rate of black women aborting babies, 1 million babies a year.
Yeah, and most abortions in America are done by white women. And then they try to do this thing where they say, oh, I care about the black community, but it's just like you really don't. Because when you really look at it, right, and I'm not saying abortions are necessarily the best thing ever, the black population in America is slowly growing. Then again, right, because he's going to contradict themselves. How do these people say that there's like an bevy of like black single moms while saying that black women are aborting children all over the place? You got to fucking pick one. And then you should mind your own damn business. Stop trying to judge people, right? Got George Floyd for their life decisions, for their medical decisions, for the things that they decided that they want to do. And there's other ways to talk about, preventing abortions, but I don't think the way to actually talk about it is through lambasting people. It's this new invention called sex education. And a lot of people don't have that necessarily, and they wind up getting pregnant. But then again, even outside of the people that know better and get pregnant, I don't think it's your place as a man to tell women what they can and can't do with their bodies. Because then it doesn't really become about saving children, which you clearly don't care about, you right-wing hack fuckwits. It becomes about controlling women and using children as a weapon to slow down their progress. And everybody with a brain can clearly see what y'all are trying to do.
That's crazy work. And wonder why we got the lowest rate in the United States at what, 13% of the population? Now let's go to the single mother household. We ain't addressing that situation.
This is a contradiction. Which one is it? Is it a single mother epidemic or is it an abortion epidemic? Because it can't be both. Because if there's a single mother epidemic, that must mean that most black women are having their children, but they're just not living with the father. How do we know all these women are single per se? Because just because a couple isn't married doesn't mean that the man doesn't live in the household, and does not mean that the man is not active in the household. Because a woman and a man can get remarried to different people after having a child, which could lead to that mom, especially before she gets locked down on paper as married, being a single mom. So I think that the way we analyze and look at these issues, well, not we, these two motherfuckers right here, is from a framework of being judgmental, obtuse, and ignorant, and not actually analyzing what's going on in their community. Because if they actually analyzed and knew what was going on in their community, or even did a modicum of research about that, they would know that. They would know that. And because, like I said, because it's like every single black mom that's technically a single mom, because today is not even like it was when welfare first became a thing. A lot of men that are not married live with their children. And because they're not married on paper, for whatever reason that is, means that the woman counts as a single mom. Not to mention the fact, there's single moms in every community, and this is just a way to lambast and target black women. But hey,
we ain't addressing the deadbeat daddy situations.
Which one is it? Because again, like these things, if you actually research them, do not pan out the way that he's saying. But again, this isn't about intellectualism. This is about saying nasty things about black people to get pats on the head and donations from racist white people.
Let me tell you why it's important.
Here we go.
Every single point. I almost think that he maybe even watched my podcast. But
Yeah, I feel sorry for all those dumb motherfuckers.
Tell you why it's dope that he's hitting every single point. Is because he's going into the core root of why we are in this situation in the first place. He's not just looking at the surface level conversation.
Oh no, this is very surface level conversations looking at issues in the black community. Don't get that shit twisted. Saying racist, nasty, stupid, anti-intellectual stereotypes about black people in front of a camera is a very easy thing to do versus actually researching the origins of this problem. But what's ironic, when intellectual people like myself actually research these problems and talk about them, then that gets called being a victim or talking about the past, when there's color photos of people being redlined and segregated, right? And the fact that all the socioeconomic damage done to the black community by direct and indirect racist policies haven't been undone, that's called victim mentality. You two frauds are not analyzing or understanding anything. We can end the video right there. You are not understanding or analyzing anything. You two motherfuckers are a bunch of crapshoot, Uncle Ruckus copycat dickweeds who go around telling racist white people what they want to hear. You have not researched any analysis about the problems that black people deal with. Instead, you come up with a list of stereotypes that make stupid white people feel good. No, this is not intellectualism. This is hackery at its finest.